Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. 2 minutes past the hour on this 21st day of July. July is almost out the door. August is almost here. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told slash JD Live. Your early morning get up, get up. It's time to wake up, wake up. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building from 100 BLK, the Black Station. You can catch me on all social media platforms except YouTube at the JDMS, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. We're in the building. On YouTube, we are broadcasting live right now at 100 BLK Media. And I ain't never, when I say never, I ain't never in here by myself. Believe that. Believe that. I'm always rocking and rolling, and I got the all-star get up, wake up morning team. And speaking of which, y'all put your hands together. Keep pimping positivity. She's somewhere in the world. I have the slightest idea where she's at, but she's somewhere in the world. Y'all put your hands together for Miss Alethea Crimmins. Hey, Alethea, good morning.
Good morning.
Lord knows where she might be in this world. She might be anywhere. Anyway, hey, you remember the Carmen San Diego? You the black Carmen San Diego. We don't know where you gonna show up at, but we know when you show up, you gonna show out. That part. And not only do I have Miss Alethea in with her lovely smile, I got the cleanest brother this side of heaven. When I tell you that Dapper Dan is saying right now, man, this brother clean. It is my brother from Miami, Florida, in the MIA. Yo, y'all put your hands together for my brother, Mr. Bowtie himself. Bowtie, what's happening, Scholar?
Good morning, Scarlett. Good morning. How's everything, Miss Alethea?
Good morning. It's good. I'm still out here in Ohio. I fly out tomorrow. So ready to come home. I'm
Don't
exhausted.
become no Buckeyes fan now.
Um,
King Joe, how's everything, King Joe?
Hey, good King Bowtie. All is well in the kingdom of Dupree Andersonism. We are doing
Gotcha.
pretty good here. We got a lot to talk about this morning. It's 4 minutes past the hour. It is the end of the month as we head toward August, and I have a question that has plagued us not only for days, for months, for years, for decades, for centuries. Man, why can't we just get along, brother?
Mm.
So we're going to get more into it when Elijah comes on at the bottom of the hour of sports. But here's what I am seeing, not only here in the great state of Louisiana. Alethea has seen it in Ohio in her short time in Ohio. You see it in Florida. We see it all over the United States. It's unnecessary violence, period, but definitely unnecessary gun violence. You know, this weekend I have seen too many young black and brown folks um, transition to the other side at the hand of somebody else, black and brown, because of something that went completely to the left and somebody had to pull out a gun and start shooting. And I don't have an answer. You know, we hear talk about so much, but the sad thing about it is I hear Malcolm and I played Malcolm yesterday. I had to sit down and listen to Malcolm's speech. But who taught us to hate us in such a manner that the only way we can resolve any type of conflict is we got to pull out a gun and we got to shoot somebody. And sometimes the person we shoot ain't even the person that offended us because we just shooting into a crowd of folks trying to get one person and we don't care who we hit. And the person who winds up transitioning is a person who was just there, an innocent bystander that had
Innocent
absolutely
bystander.
nothing to do with the beef. So I just don't know what can we do or how can we really, because we talk about this all the time. Talk about
we
this
do.
all the time. How do we really make these folks put the guns down? I don't understand.
I don't think we can actually make them put the guns down. I think it's more of the teaching and responsible and the respect to their self and to their culture. Uh,
Mm,
Me and you done talk off camera, Joe, and I personally went through a little gun violence situation probably about 2 years ago. And what hunted me and what caused depression for me is that I never brought guns to harm black people. You know, I brought my guns to go hunting in the worst case scenario to defend my house, but not against people that look like me. And of course I had to use it against someone that looked like me. But I wonder what outside of my household, what are people being educated about when it comes to guns? Like, are your gun is just to prove that you're a man? Because if you're trying to prove that you're a man, you'll be proving the rest of your life. And eventually,
Mm,
the same gun will get you locked up, whether you ain't don't have no gun, and you still be proving stuff while you're incarcerated. And now, is you gonna get shanked, or somebody gonna shank you, or you gonna shank somebody, or you gonna be somebody's girlfriend? So
Mm.
I think when it comes to men, because most of the time the killing comes from young African American men, their mindset is to proving that they're the hardest person in the world. Well, if that's their mindset, I guarantee you 80 to 90% of all African American want to prove to you that they're the hardest man in the world or they're the toughest man in the world. So my sons, both of my sons, they shoot, they go hunt and fish, and they even shoot bow and arrows. But even when I instruct them on how to use a firearm, it was never with the intentions to, hey, I never gave them this lesson. Hey, any man disrespect you, any man step on your toe, like you got it. Nah, I think that's the
Mm.
wrong lesson that we teach. And oftentimes when we're introduced to firearms, particularly when we're teenagers, 9 out of 10 it deals with a stolen gun. The conversation goes around like, oh, let's anytime someone tries us, we gonna do this or we gonna do that. And I know because I come from the projects and I come from the hood. So I think it's the teachings, and I think it's the responsible adults that do carry firearms can get out there and get the message to them. Maybe we could turn around some of the youth violence, and maybe we can show how much we love one another and what the guns are really for. Because if we're honest, in our community, when we go back to around like the early 1900s, when we started getting guns, blacks was allowed to get guns. It was actually defend our culture, defend our race from other races. It was never to say, "Hey, let me go down the street and kill this other slave," or no, let me kill this slave who ain't picking enough cotton, with my firearm. Nah, it was always against other people. And I'm not trying to say, hey, let's go start a race war. I'm just trying to say, like,
Well,
look back at the angle mentally of why did you get this gun?
well, the
What was the
truth, the
purpose of
truth
it?
about it, the truth about the matter is, as Dr. King said, we just want them that wrote the paper.
Mm-hmm.
It said we hold these principles as self-evidence, just to
Mm-hmm.
just to hold your word. You put it on. You wrote them words that all
Yeah.
men are created equal. So if so, we have certain inalienable rights. We do too, because we're human beings also. And
Mm-hmm.
even though many a times we were not looked as human beings, we have the right to defend our homes. We have the right to life, happiness, liberty, and the pursuit of all this good stuff here. We have the same rights. And it saddens me. And when we talk about violence, and I said gun violence, unnecessary gun violence. These
Mm-hmm.
days, we see a lot of violence, and I'm going to go to Alethea because Alethea has been in the school system. We see it with young girls. We see it. We see, man, I see more girl fights on social media than I see anything else. And I'm not saying that we're sensationalizing a lot of this stuff, which we are, but you got to look at the numbers. For us not to be the majority of the population, and we're not, we sure are the majority of folks in trouble and in the prison system. And I'm trying to figure out what in the hell in the ham sandwich and in Halle Berry is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Alethea.
I feel like what Brother Bowtie said is correct. It's most of the time is to prove yourself to people that really don't even matter. It's to prove who is the strongest, who is the best, who, and at the end of the day, it really turns into like a pissing contest of who's stronger, who can get the most respect. And I was just talking to somebody else about this as far as gun violence goes. Like, we live in a microwavable world. Like, people want things done right now. Nobody wants to put in work for anything anymore. And it used to be that whenever we had any type of beef with somebody, it was no issue fighting them, getting it over with, and we both live to see another day.
Mm,
Nobody wants to put in work anymore.
mm,
Nobody actually they want to just get it over with.
mm.
And for what? Like, what is it that we are trying to prove? What is it that, and who are we trying to prove it to? Because the people that we are trying to get this validation from really don't care.
Mm.
They really do not care. But it does start at a very young age. I see people teaching, and I understand that in this world you have to teach your children how to protect yourself. But at this time, like, it doesn't seem like when you're making cousins fight each other, when you're making this one fight that one. Now it almost seems like it's for sport, it's for we're having fun, like this is funny, versus I'm trying to teach you how to protect yourself in the real world. And parents are teaching their kids that this is okay,
Mm.
that this is in fact how you get respect, that this is in fact what you do when you go out into the world. So you're not teaching your children how to communicate, you're not teaching your children how to problem solve, you're not teaching your children these basic things that they need to know. The first thing that they go to is, I'm just gonna hit you.
Well, 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 Alethea and brother Bowtie, let's just be real about it. We're not the best examples on social media. You know,
Social media
I see this
glorifies
social
this.
hey, this social media beef amongst adults, I see it all the time. Sometimes prominent adults who are celebrities are social media beefing hard, talking about the own site. I, I'm 58 years old. There's terminology out there. I'm like, what? What? When did we on site,
Yeah.
and they ain't playing. They'll be getting ready for a photo shoot or an interview, and all of a sudden somebody will run up and just on site uh, you know, and then the language amongst one another. When I see you, I'm gonna come and beat the brakes off of you. That's on social media. When I see you, I'm beating the brakes off of you. And then, like I said, some of this is with the highest level of people in our culture. We have individuals who are actresses and actors and influencers. Instead of them just saying, you know what, I'm paying absolutely no attention to all this craziness, they're going back and forth with banter. And then, like you said, if that banter goes on, you'll literally see a social media feed that has over 10,000 views, 20,000 comments talking about, oh my God, what's going on? I saw a social media feed, and I'm not a foodie, but I saw a social media feed in this area, which I'm still, because I'm not from here. And once again, some things just I'm like, why are we talking about this? But over some dry red beans. And I'm like, I mean, I get it. It's funny, it's clickbait, it's click, like, and share. It increases people's numbers, and some of you really do get paid. Y'all ain't getting paid millions of dollars, but y'all do get paid off of social media. But I'm like, come on, family. Is everything got to be a joke? Every once in a while, we just got, and don't get me wrong, if that's your occupation, are you trying to get into that occupation of being a comedian? I respect that, but at the end of the day, I'm like, come on, until you become the next Kevin Hart, and everybody has to start somewhere, or you become the next some more. Come on, family. Let's sometimes say to ourselves, if this was being said about me, how would I receive it?
I'm sorry, but and people can take it how they want it, because y'all already know that what comes out of my mouth I can say once, twice, three times, or 65 times. Um, if you call yourself a comedian and the only thing that you can do that is funny is to make fun of other people, then you're really not a comedian, you're just a bully. Like,
Mm,
like,
mm,
if that's your premise of your whole comedy skit, is to make fun of, because real comedians, they don't have to do that. Real M- Martin Lawrence, Kevin Hart. Oh my God, it's like so Red Fox. The real comedians, they had to make fun of other people in order to be funny. So if you have if that's your go-to, then don't call yourself that, because that's not what you are. You're just a bully
Mm.
playing a comedian on TV. Like that's really all you're doing. And
Wow.
I
Wow.
said what I said.
Wow. So, good morning to James Vincent in the chat. Good morning to our sister Jax that is in the chat. Jax will probably be back either Tuesday or Wednesday. Of course, we are your early morning wake up crew. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building, along with Alethea Crimmins, brother Bowtie. At the bottom of the hour, we got our brother Elijah coming in with sports. And the reason I brought up about the gun violence in sports, we're going to be talking about the tragic loss of a Louisianian from New Orleans, played for Ole Miss, went to Memphis, Tennessee. Still don't have all the details of where he was at or what he was doing. Was he at a friend's house, at a party, or what? I'm still trying to get that. I'm sure Elijah will have all that information, who is no longer with us because Saturday night he got shot.
Mm.
An inspiring football player.
Yeah, I think he was a freshman, right?
Freshman, 18 years old, 18 years old at Ole Miss, at Ole Miss. And people who know where Ole Miss is, it's in Oxford, Mississippi, to be exact. My niece, my sister's daughter, is a graduate of Ole Miss. She is a part of the rebel regime, as I call it, the
Mm-hmm.
Rebel Alliance. But down there in Oxford, Mississippi, one of the powerhouses in the SEC, noted for John Grisham, the great author. He
Mm-hmm.
graduated from Ole Miss. Katy Perry, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's been talking about Katy Perry and Beyonce because both of them had that big issue with their concert where there was malfunctions with their props. So
Mm-hmm.
Katy Perry graduated from Ole Miss, but this young man from New Orleans, big
You know,
time
Joe,
football.
Joe,
Talk to me.
this might offend you, but I'm not standing with the intentions to offend you. But I
Mm-mm.
often wonder in our community, especially those who's from the hood who want to live by the street code, why are we so eager? Like, why it doesn't take much for us to try to harm one another or beef with one another or shoot one another.
Mm.
But when it comes to cops, and I'm not here to offend you, Joe, just hear me out.
I'm listening to you. Go
When
ahead, my
it
brother.
comes to cops, why we're not so quick to draw our guns on cops? Why we're not so quick to say, oh, this is a bad cop, which oftentimes we go through a lot as young black men. Oftentimes you'll get stopped by a cop for harassment. Oh, this cop harassed me. Let me shoot him, or let me, show him that let me prove to him that I'm the man. Why does it only start and stop with only black people that look like you when it comes to the hood? You're not trying to prove to the Hispanic community that you the hardest dude. You ain't trying to prove to the police officer you the hardest dude, the FBI, the CIA, the Italian community, the Irish community. It's only in our community that we're like, you're my target, you who I want. I need to prove to you that I'm the man of this community and I run this block or I run this hood and stuff like that. I just want to know why it starts and ends only with us.
So, brother Bowtie, we're gonna try to answer that question. We're gonna try to get the chat and the phone lines open to answer that question. But before we do, put your hands together. There she is, the author, the celebrity author, the therapist, the speaker herself, Sister Jax. Good morning, Sister Jax.
What's up, family? What's up, family? Great conversation. And I'm loving that. And if I may hop in there, brother Bowtie, a lot of it comes from a lot of it is systemic, right? But it also is rooted in, if we even take it all the way back to scripture, a lot of it's rooted according to scripture, basically because we don't want to obey the most high. So it's things that were put upon us, different curses and behaviors. And, even if we still go back to the Willie Lynch letter, all of that stuff is still in there. Like it's by design. And also what part of the problem is, it's because we see each other. and many times we're afraid to be seen. So you know how it is, you walking down a block, at least here, Jersey, New York, especially how it is, you look at somebody, sometimes they like, when you see them, they like, what you looking at? You know what I'm saying? And we're afraid sometimes as a people that if you look at me, you're going to see my hurt, you're going to see my pain, you're going to see my flaws. And rather than me accepting and feeling that, we rather just lash out and act out. It's also a level of spiritual immaturity. And like what you were saying, Alethea, even with the comedians, like you said, sometimes they'll talk about other people just to really, like hurt somebody. Like you ain't a real comedians don't have to go like that. Just like gangsters, a real gangster don't have to just run up on somebody and shoot somebody, like you said, you're on site because of a beef. A real gangster
Mm.
moves in silence. You know what I'm saying?
So what Sister Jack says has a lot of credibility and a lot of weight. To answer Brother Bowtie's question, believe it or not, there are some who are bold enough and brave enough to is a part of a lot of gang initiations.
Mm-hmm.
Go kill a person in uniform. Uh, because a lot of these youngsters don't distinguish what uniforms are. That's why I really feel sad for a lot of folks that are in the security guard business that don't get the training that I have. As they be out in the grocery store or out trying to put gas in their car, and all of a sudden some as the youngsters call them, some YN runs up and goes boom. See, I am highly trained, even though I'm 58 years old. Folk know that Unc ain't no joke when it comes down with the blockers. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing about it. Those around the neighborhood, even the youngsters here in my neighborhood, they always say, "Man, that old man crazy." But
Mm.
they know I don't miss. I mean, a perfect score for a police officer on the shooting range is 120. With my bad eyesight and my old age, I never shoot under a 115.
Mm.
So so I don't miss. I don't miss, and I'm not gonna fight you. So I might look like, oh, he look old and slow. I'm fast with the blam blams, super fast with the blam blams. And once that word gets out, sometimes folks won't go for they go for low hanging fruit. We'll pull
Mhm.
out. Look, I see videos all the time. I'm sitting in investigation rooms. I'm sitting in videos. Bow tie. I literally saw a kid with a 35 round clip. Now, watch this. He's trying to shoot a kid in front of him. He starts squeezing the trigger before he even comes out of his pants waist. He almost shot
Mm.
himself.
Mm.
Literally, when they arrested the kid had 4 gun holes in his own pants. Where before he pulled it out of his waistband, he done shot 4 rounds and went through his own pants. One, two, three,
Mm.
four. And he comes out like this. And
Yeah.
he's doing like this, and he's going sideways like in the movie, and he hits everything but the kid who is 5 feet in front of him that he's trying to hit.
Mm.
Mm.
And the kid winds up picking up a bat and literally all I think the boy's still paralyzed to this day.
Mm.
So once again, these kids see this stuff in the movies. A lot of them, and I hate to say it because I am a big video game guy, but a lot of them believe, like in Call of Duty, that if they get shot, they're going to regenerate back and everything going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bullets kill, bullets
They,
hurt. You don't
they,
come back. You
they
don't.
think they
You
can
don't.
call you and say, "Hey man, come pick me up, man. I'm over
Right,
here."
right, 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 right. Revive me. Revive.
Yeah,
It ain't no.
revive.
Listen, and it ain't that. And then once again, the beef they have these days. I mean, we just had not too very long ago, and Alethea remembers this. We have an artist here named Chris Ardwin. He is a Zydeco artist.
Hmm.
Chris, who is a great guy, I love Chris. Chris has been shot at his own concert, not because folks were trying to shoot at him, because they were shooting in the crowd. Stray
Mm.
bullets don't have eyes.
Mm-mm.
Then
Yeah,
he
and
has a
you know what's something that's bad in our community now? We already will suffer with gun violence. I was talking about this yesterday on my podcast. Young dude came in there. I ain't gonna call him a YN because he said I'm a YN. I said, nah, you're a young brother, you're a young king. And I was like, man, the switches are very bad. Like when I say it's bad, like
oh yeah,
when I like they don't have no control of them. Like even us as adult, I done shot a gun with a switch on it, Joe, and I don't have no control of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
a switch is like shooting a 50 cal. No lie, it's like shooting a 50 cal in your hand. Like once you press it, you automatically gonna do like this. Your hand
right.
gonna do like this. So if you're going to shoot someone personally, and there's a crowd of people, there's no way that you're only going to shoot him if you got a gun with a switch on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him like, bro, y'all need to go back and just think about how y'all doing things. I said, you could call me old or you could call me aunt, but I said, bro, I'm 30, 39 years old, 40 years old. I say, I can still run for you. I can still hang with you, bro. But I said, but I come from an era like you'll call someone out personally and you'll handle it personally. You know, and I said oftentimes when I was growing up, in middle school, high school, if I had a fight with someone and there was someone jumped in or someone was trying to egg the beef on while we was trying to settle it, we
Mhm.
would turn against that person. Like, man,
Right.
why you trying to egg the fight on, bro? We trying to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or
Yeah.
me and him get in a fight, and me and the young man get in a fight, and one of my homeboys kick him. When he get up, oh no, yeah, go ahead shooting that fair. You should never kick him, bro. It was a fair
Right.
one, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, but
If it's one on one and somebody jump in, everybody in now. Go.
yeah, yeah.
Let
But
let.
I
Hey.
said, but y'all really don't care. And I was trying to tell him to look at the video of the Chicago shootout. I don't know if you've seen it with the kids.
Yes, sir. I did.
Yeah,
Very
and
much
I was
so.
like, I say, everybody who got killed or everybody who got shot, they didn't have nothing to do with the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who was doing the shooting, only one of them got shot out. I think they said it was like between like 12 to 14 people was shooting, but only one person got shot who was doing the shooting. But everybody else who was unalive or died, they did not have a gun at all. They was just there to party and hang out and stuff like that. And I said, but y'all didn't care at all. Y'all don't care nothing about that. I said, where I come from, my generation, we care about it. Like, you know, like, okay, we at a party. I'm beefing with Joe. And I'm really about to destroy this party and kill everybody at this party because I'm beefing with Joe. Nah, how I think, and people in my era, we're going to stay apart for like 5 or 10 minutes, speak to everybody, look at Joe, let them know that I'm there, and then we gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Or if we do stay,
Or
we
let
gonna
me
go on the
know.
other side
Right.
and we gonna
Or
make
let
sure
me
that.
know. Or let me know that. Look, bruh, I ain't gonna get you here, but
Mm-hmm.
outside this party, bruh,
Yeah.
we got
Mm-hmm.
unfinished business. We used to
Mm-hmm.
be, listen, in my days, we were real simple. We had certain places that we would squabble with you. Man,
Yeah.
meet me over here at the basketball court after
Mm-hmm.
dark. After,
Mm-hmm.
we might shoot a couple of games, but after that, we about to knuckle up. Meet me at the
Mm-hmm.
baseball diamond, dog. Meet me at the
Mm-hmm.
baseball diamond, and we gonna square this up. And most of
Or,
the
or,
time,
or
that
our
be
favorite, or our favorite thing to say, and I think every generation said besides these kids now, meet me at the school. You know where to meet
right.
me at.
Meet me
Yeah.
after school. Right. Meet me after school in its own. See,
Mm.
the thing about it is, and once again, I don't think we have a kid problem. I think kids have always been kids. I think we have a parenting problem, and then we have a
Mm-hmm.
misunderstanding of what's going on problem. Got to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. I just saw a social media post. Once again, it's to me, it's the adults.
Mm-hmm.
So laws have been passed, like in Louisiana, that now listen to what this law says. I want you to listen to it, and I'm gonna tell you what people have wrong with it because they try to politicize stuff. The law says if you have not committed a crime, I like to emphasize that's the first statement in this law,
Mm-hmm.
in this statute. If you're not a felon and you have not committed a crime, and you are legally old enough, which is 18 years old, because ladies and gentlemen, at 18 years old, you can join the armed forces and you can lose your life
Mm.
serving in the protection of the United States of America.
It's actually 16, Joe.
Okay, okay. So
Mm.
so they moved it to 16 that you can join, but I don't think you can be deployed until you're 18. So
Maybe so. Yeah.
so watch this. All right. In the state of Louisiana, you can legally own a gun if you're not a felon, ain't committed a crime, and you're over 18 years old. And folks will go on social media talking about, man, these people done voted in that kids can carry guns. So make up your mind now. Make up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm 18 and I'm a kid, then am I a kid when I'm your kid doing wrong? But when I'm a kid doing wrong to you, then all of a sudden you want to throw the book at me like I'm an adult. Make up your mind. Are they
Mm-hmm.
18 when it's your kid doing wrong? When it's okay, once again, the key word in it is your kid
Mm-hmm.
doing wrong. See, It's funny to me how y'all want to cry wolf when it's your kid doing wrong. But when something gets done wrong to your kid, y'all talking about, look at it, throw the book at him. Throw the book at him. Look what they did to my baby. Look at, oh, wait a minute. Your baby out here being a menace to society. You want
That's
everybody
right.
to just understand. But as soon as somebody get into your baby's ass, then all of a sudden you the first one on social media. Look how they did my baby wrong. Your baby been out here robbing,
Phew.
stealing, hitting folks upside the head. Now your baby 18 years old, and all of a sudden you mad because you want everybody to still act like little Johnny 15, 16, 17. No, little Johnny grown now. Now, little Johnny got to go to grown man's house and deal with grown man's issues. And here's what you come to find out. You think you Billy Bad at 18 until you get to Angola.
Mm.
And in
That's right.
Angola, they got some cats that's been in there since they were 13, 12. And them boys are battle tested. And all of a sudden, they look at you and say, oh, don't come in here, bro, like you running stuff, but you want to act in there like you act in the streets, and you wonder why you get your head knocked off. Now, I put all that in there to make people think about this. Once again, the law says if you ain't committed a crime, if you are a good person and you 18 years old, you can own a gun. Understand, 99.6% of the gun crimes that are committed in the state of Louisiana are committed by illegal guns. In other words, if this law wasn't in place, 99.6% of all the crimes that happen in Louisiana would happen because somebody has a stolen gun or a gun that they're not supposed to have. Just
Yeah.
no-
And you know what
don't.
else, Joe? And those are some great points you guys are making. And also, a lot of these kids, honestly, they're depressed. A lot of these kids are depressed and they are angry. So they don't care about their own life. So they sure as heck don't care about anybody else's life. So, and then on top of it, like y'all talked about, my husband and daughter were talking about it last night because he takes my daughter, to the gun range. And, she was talking about how the kickback, like she said, I had no idea that the kickback is as strong, as it is. So now you have these 11, 12, 13-year-old kids with no sort of lack of strength and tactile mobility and all that stuff. So now they're carrying a heavy gun with the kickback. They don't know what the hell they're doing. So naturally they just gonna spray it everywhere. On top of being depressed and I don't give a damn about my life. So I don't give a damn about yours. I have no conflict resolution skills. I don't know how to communicate effectively to say, yo, I don't like what you said, or what you said made me feel uncomfortable, or you hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know how to communicate like that. So it's easier to just unalive you and get it over with. So now I don't have to put in the work of trying to solve this issue or handle this emotion that I have that makes me feel hurt, sad, upset, angry, or uncomfortable in any way. So I'd rather just erase you off the face of the earth. And it's so unfortunate. So we definitely have to work on some more conflict resolution within our community and even as adults, because guess what? The kids are watching everything we do. So even when you think about like divorce, certain things don't work out, we quick to, you know what, I'm getting divorced, on site basically, right? Rather than trying to put in the time to work things out. And, some marriages, you put in the time, you put in the effort, you put the most high up in it, things can work out. But in some situations, it just really ain't gonna work out because it just is not a good situation.
That
But
part.
the kids are watching us. So we got to
Mm,
watch how we move.
mm.
We got Prophet Elijah on deck. What up,
35
Elijah?
minutes past the hour. And since we're talking about gun violence, we're going to start off sports this on Make It Happen Monday on a tragic note. Elijah's got more information. Brother, big time prospect from, I think he went to Edna Carr
He
in New
did.
Orleans.
Mm.
Uh, was recruited by full scholarship to Ole Miss. Talk to me, Elijah Nixon with sports.
First of all, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Um,
morning, Scholar.
Good morning.
Great day.
Over the weekend was a tragic, tragic loss for Edna Carr and the Ole Miss football team and um, the Louisiana community in general. Corey Adams, 18-year-old, didn't get a chance to step on the field for the Rebels, but he did finish his high school career. But he was going to his first freshman year. Was shot and killed during gun violence. Reports say it was around 10:14 in the Cove in Cordova area, which is in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where he was at. Um, he was shot and killed, and there were four other guys that were went to the hospital with gunshot wounds, but they weren't in critical condition. But um, it's just sad to see somebody, you know, who didn't get a chance to live out their dream, die before they got a chance to play the game of football, but just die in general. He's only 18 years old. I'm not sure if it was escalated off an
Mhm.
argument, um, if it was something that somebody saw that he had a nice car because like he probably has NIL and they wanted to take
Mhm.
it from him, or
Mhm.
if he had nice things on. I don't know, but what we do know, it's nothing to lose your life over. I think that with the older generation back in the day, and you can attest to this, brother Bowtie, with Miami, when those athletes was in clubs and stuff, the street dudes didn't let them touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what it was, street dudes did not let the athletes
Mhm.
get into any type of trouble. It was like, look, nah, they're actually going to school and they're playing a sport and they're trying to do something. Don't let them touch it. And I think I wish
It's
that
still
rule,
like that today.
and I wish it would apply in that instance right there. Um,
Mhm.
Mhm.
if he was causing havoc or not. I think that somebody should have said no, no, let him go. He's playing football. He's doing what he needs to do to support his family, and he has a life in front of him. And I'm not saying the street dudes don't either, but something got to give, or you got to put the gun down. You got to put the gun
Mhm.
down because you're losing more than you're gaining by shooting by killing someone else. Um, Nah, it's just tough. It's just tough when you see that, and you gotta put your prayers out to his family and that school and even in the car. So it's just a rough
Yeah,
weekend out there in Memphis.
it's crazy because that's my hometown. Cordova it used to be a very nice neighborhood in Memphis. So these days and times, it can go down anywhere. The
Mhm.
hood and the hood mentality has really trickled into the suburbs, and I laugh about that in the job that I do when I go to a very influent part of town, and there comes out some kid who's non-melanated with a big chain around his neck talking about, What up, folk? I see them people that rolled up." And I'm like, "You ain't about that life at all, youngster." But, and then I'll be like, "You do it all right?" "Yeah, man, and I say, "Listen, sir, these donuts you doing out in these parking lots, it's gonna hurt somebody." And
Mhm.
it's crazy to me how they try to act like all their life they know how it feels. I'm like, "Sir, you hadn't had a day of ramen noodles in your life."
Mhm.
You over here eating turkey sandwiches, talking about you po.
Mhm.
I actually saw a legislator do that, and that made me laugh. A legislator who makes $308,000 a year get on TV and say, poor folks like me,
That's
like
crazy.
the way he said it was so smooth. It just came and hold it. James, I'm gonna make you laugh. James Vincent on here. He's actually a representative from Tennessee. He said, poor folk like me making 308,000 a year and a
Mhm.
politician, poor folk like me, because he said, I ain't Donald Trump rich. So 308 make you poor. Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
So you really don't want to be the average black and brown person in this country where the amount of money being made is literally in some regions under 20,000 a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
And
just sit right
Elijah,
there.
like you said, put the guns down, right? So when we say that to our community and when we say that to our kids, y'all got to put the guns down. We, as intellects need to then tell our kids what they need to pick up instead
Mm,
of the guns.
Mm.
So we tell them to put them down. Okay, give them an alternative, right? Give them alternative. I mean, a lot of kids talk about like there's nothing to do in our neighborhood. There's no community centers. There's no this. There's no that. But granted, like I said, here in Newark, we have some of the best community centers, and sometimes our kids still don't go. There's a lot of kids that go, but there's still a lot that don't. But everywhere you walk, they walking around with the ski mask on, 100-degree weather with a ski
The
mask and a
shiesty
Nike tech,
mask.
looking crazy as hell. And just, you never know. And you could walk like I've done art therapy with students that are court mandated to come to me with big ass ankle monitors on, bigger than they little damn legs. 11, 12 years old. These little kids are out there, like you say, Joe, blocker. They out there doing it and have no remorse, no type of nothing. And they definitely don't know how to fight because back in the day, you have uncles, shit, you had some aunties that'll show you how to fight, your father, your big brother. But nowadays, these kids do not know how to get out there and knuckle up. They couldn't even throw one punch if they truly had to. So it's easy to pick up that they call out here they call it a pole or whatever else you want to call it. They'll pick up the pole and just handle what they handle. Whether they get you or not, anybody else is just a casualty to them.
Mm.
So put guns down, but pick one up. So what would you guys suggest that they pick up if they're gonna put the guns down? What advice would you
I
guys
tell,
give them?
be honest with you, man, pick up a hobby or lesson
Mm,
or something that possibly can take you further in life because a gun ain't gonna take you nowhere. One thing about it, even
Right.
if you shoot someone in self defense, you still have enemies for the rest of your life because
Mm.
that person family ain't gonna lay down. That
that's
Mm-mm.
right.
person cousin, that person homeboy, they gonna still be looking for you. So one
And
thing
wait,
is
wait,
you
and so look, brother Bowtie, and that's so true. I had a student, somebody killed his uncle, I believe it was. And this young man wants to get married, have a family one day, and he's only like 17 years old. But he said, the guy that killed my uncle got like 30 years in prison. He said, I don't care where I live, when I grow up and I can have a beautiful wife, a house, a car, my college degree, and everything. I'm going back to get this guy because he
yeah.
took my uncle away. So they say it's no expiration on get back.
Uh,
I'm gonna get him back.
that's the word. That's the word in the hood. And look, and I mean, Alethea
Mhm.
has dealt with. And watch this. Think about it. When I was a little child, we used to play cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers. These little kids want to be gangsters. These
Yeah.
little kids starting at pre-K. They come in there wanting to be gangsters. And here's why. Because you got a little 3-year-old, little 4-year-old, little 5-year-old sitting down watching Power with you. They
Yep.
watching Tommy. They watching Tommy and they watching Saint Patrick. And, and,
Mhm.
And,
and look, and at the end of the day, what you're allowing to come into their eye gates and their ear gates, because a lot of these kids are experiencing adult conversation,
Yes.
adult situations, and adult everything as a child.
Mhm.
As a child. That's why watch this. I deal hold on. I deal because everybody talk children. I deal with missing missing and exploited children. Let's talk children for a second then. Cause some of y'all want to come on here and talk about y'all child advocates and things. Y'all be surprised how many folks are being exploited in more ways than one
Mhm.
on a daily basis as
Absolutely.
children. And here's why. Because we're not paying attention. We're
Mhm.
not paying attention. This and a lot of folks out here, and I respect everybody in the game. Everybody. Let me say this. I ain't throwing shade at nobody. I respect everybody that's out there trying to say something to bring awareness and bring about a change when it comes down to children and children advocacy. But we got to wake up, y'all. First of
Mhm.
all, there's a lot of predators in our own family. And hold on, stop the presses.
Mhm.
Because I just did an interview this weekend and I realized something. Some of you that are advocating are predators.
mm,
Mhm. That's right.
I literally had to interview a lady this weekend where I figured out something. Wait a minute. So let me understand this. At age 14, 15, you were playing little sexual games with little junior high kids when you were in high school.
Mhm.
Wait a minute.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. So we negate that. We negate the trauma that you issued out as a high schooler because it came out. Well, yeah, when I
Mhm.
was, and this is how the whole thing started because, my uncle, and then when I got around these, wait a minute. So all of a sudden you got sexually abused, but when you were in high school and you could manipulate and puppet some folks underneath you, you did that. And we never addressed this trauma, but you're an
Mhm.
advocate now. Hold up.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. Sometimes we got to put everything on the table and understand some of y'all have not healed from what hurt you, but you out here trying to help other folk.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? We got to think about it. When was the last time when we talk to young people and we talk to young people about a lot of different stuff, right? But a lot of stuff is just superficial, But when was the last time you could recall you talked to a young person and said, "Has anybody ever touched you inappropriately?" Have
Mm,
you ever touched anybody inappropriately? You know, and
mm.
be that person where it's a safe space. There's a page in my book for kids that talks about no one ever has the right to touch you inappropriately or make you hurt. And whenever I read that page when I do my story times, people are blown away and some kids are giggling. And, you know, I've been in classrooms where teachers have to shut the whole classroom down because they say this is not a funny thing because you have peers in your classroom who have been sexually assaulted and molested as little kids. And of course, they can't divulge what student, you know, has been through that. But a lot of these kids have been through it. A lot of us have been through it. And like you said, Joe, have not healed, have not spoken about it, have not gotten help, have not addressed the situation. But we need to start having this open dialogue to let these little pedophiles and disgusting malicious people within our families know that look, I'm gonna talk to all the kids at the next holiday gathering we're together and say, has anybody ever touched you? If so,
I,
But
who? Let's put it out there. But
I mean,
instead
I
we're
mean,
afraid, we shy away from it.
I mean, there are young men and young women who have been violently raped. That's
That's
just the
right.
word. Hold it. That's the only word. Hold it. And some of these young men and young women become young adults and adults. There are adults out there who have been violently raped, and they won't tell you this. They
Yeah.
won't
mm-hmm.
tell you this. And that's a sad thing. And to me, anybody who does that to another human being, I have absolutely no regards for.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
That to me is the lowest of the low. When you have to violently take sexual pleasure from sexually satisfying yourself with somebody else who really might not even want to deal with you, come on, man. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got. I don't
You
have.
know
I
what,
have
Joe?
zero top. Go ahead, Bowtie.
You know, it's funny that y'all speaking about this, and I often say those family secrets is the energy that destroy the family.
Yep.
Mm.
There's a lot of people who grandma, aunties, and uncles protect. And how I personally feel, how I raised my kids, because I know there was a couple of molesters in my family. If I gotta walk in your house and I know there's a hump, you know how they say sweep things underneath the rug. If I
Mm-hmm.
know
Mhm,
there's a hump before I can get to you, I ain't walking in that house. So a
That's
lot of
right.
mm,
times, even now to the day, hey, you coming to uncle? You coming to auntie? Nah, they still got a hump in their house.
Yeah.
Like if I know who you is, and I didn't hear the story from you, but if I heard the story from one of the victims in the family or from one
Mm-hmm.
of the cousins or man, nah, I don't trust you, man. And no lie, unfortunately, in our mind, we only
Mm-hmm.
look at in our society, I say in our culture, we only look at men as being, the suspect. But man, a lot of situation, these aunts,
Yeah. Yep.
man, these older
hey,
female cousins.
hey, hey,
Yep.
hey, hey. It is saddening, sickening at the same time.
Mhm,
It
How many
is.
of us know, as youth, we heard, "Don't sit on so and so's lap."
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
Don't go over the. And then, like you said, and what they don't talk about is the young men who were sent over to auntie's house, and auntie
Mm-hmm.
had a friend over at her house, and
mhm,
auntie say, "I'm going to the grocery store." Oh, come on. Oh, let's go there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
go to the grocery store, and all of a sudden, Lucy said, go on, girl,
Mm-hmm.
go on. And soon as she walk out the door, Lucy telling young boy, drop them drawers,
Mhm.
drop them drawers.
And I got one that's probably gonna hurt us, Joe.
Come
Mm-hmm.
on.
But the church too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things
Mm.
happening at the church.
Yep.
Hold on. You send your kid to vacation Bible school. Oh
Mm.
yeah, they learn in the books of
They
the
came
Bible,
back
all
learning
right.
how to do oral sex.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Right. Come on. See, we don't want to talk about these things because we want to say, oh, that ain't happening. And then we don't want to call out, oh, then somebody gonna be in my inbox. Somebody, you got the audacity to call the church out like that. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm,
guess what? Pastor so and so, sister so and so, deacon so and so, trustee so and so, choir member so and so, usher so and so, male and female out there doing some terrible stuff to people in that place that's supposed to be the safe place.
Yeah.
mhm,
But you know, Joe, the sad part about it all is that we all co-sign a lot of this stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I say we co-sign it because even growing up, we spoke about it briefly on the show the other day about, saying like, oh, that's your little boyfriend, or oh, he hit you. That's because he loves you. And
Yeah.
kids in second and third grade. So we co-sign a lot of the nonsense, and we co-sign a lot of the lust and lasciviousness that goes on in our community, rather than stepping up and trying to teach our children. Like, you get ostracized, and I know I get it all the time. You get ostracized for trying to tell kids, you know what? Try to be a virgin till you get married. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So now if we raise up a generation of kids in their minds understanding that, you know what, pleasing God, one of the ways to please God is being a virgin till you get married. Your flower is for your husband, your rod is for your wife. You know what I'm saying? But instead we try to always make excuses about everything to try to promote lust, and lust is the driving factor behind all of this molestation and sexual deviance and all of this kind of stuff. So we need to actually just do better as adults across the board, because the kids are watching. And if we have that lustful spirit, and these kids watch us hoeing with this dude, hoeing with that dude, dude sticking with this girl and sticking with that girl, the kids are like, oh, okay, so that's how you do it. You don't have to have one woman, you don't have to have one man, you could sleep around with whoever you want, have whatever boyfriend or girlfriend you want, and it's okay. But then when the sexual immorality kicks in and we're laying with all type of folks we shouldn't lay with, then the cycle will just continue. But if you talk about that, nobody want to talk about that.
Well,
No, they
You know what I'm
don't.
saying?
Jax, I tell everybody you got to weigh the cost of a thing. And then once again, let
Absolutely.
me show you where a lot of confusion comes in. On one side, you'll look at it, and I hate to say this, and this is funny because this week and next week, we're going to start having some great guests and some people, which will be surprises to everyone. It has surprised me that I even committed to saying that I'm going to bring some of these folks on. But at the end of the day, we need to bring people on who have different points of views, where we can have a better understanding of why are we the way we are, and is there another way? And guess what? Not saying there's a better way, but is there another way that maybe you haven't looked at?
Hmm.
But,
Hmm.
once again, those who are scholars of the parchment will say, "Well, wait a minute, who changed the game?"
Hmm.
Because the game started off 'cause, and once again, I hate to say this, but y'all, unfortunately, I know a lot of y'all live and die by this book, and I get it. But let's just be real about something. And sometimes the realism is what God loves more than anything else. That book ain't a complete book. It ain't. So once again, when you haven't been given all the information that is necessary for you to make the correct decision, you are under a system that literally gave you what they needed to give you, where they could direct you to go a certain way they wanted you to go.
You know what, Joe? With that, if you go to any holy book, right? I don't care what faith it is, any holy book, except for obviously the Satanic Bible and stuff like that. But the premise behind it all, no matter what the story is, the history behind it, the lineage, all of that stuff, take all of that stuff away. Not one of those books is going to tell you about any sexual immorality in terms of
Right.
saying that it's
Right.
okay.
No, no, no,
You know
no,
what I'm
no,
saying?
no, no, no.
So,
Hey, you're right.
mhm,
But once again, like I
mhm,
said, any and that's any book. I'm not just
yeah.
calling that book out. I call any book out. Any book that is not complete.
Mhm,
And that's what bothers me sometimes, even though I am a full believer. But that's why I tell people I ain't religious, I'm spiritual. And I am
mhm.
very spiritual and very non-religious
Same
because
here.
in any book that puts in there just what they want you to know, and then there might have been some stuff that should have went in the book that they didn't put in the book because they knew that being in the book would cause an issue. I got a problem with that. It's 5 minutes to the top of the hour. So I'm asking, can we go a few minutes over? Who can stay, who can't. I want to bring this up to Brother Elijah. Elijah, how you feel about the president of the United States all of a sudden saying that the Washington Commanders need to be recalled the Redskins, and the Cleveland Indians need to be
Mhm,
recalled the Cleveland Indians? I got a real, and I hate to bring the race thing up here, but I got a real problem now that all of a sudden to make America great again, it's like make America racist again.
mhm,
I mean, I'm not surprised. We got a racist man in office. Like, there's nothing that I really could say surprised me with what he says. I mean, they're trying to break away from it. He's trying to bring it back. They're trying to break
Mhm.
away from all types of stereotypes and racism things, traits that he wants to bring back. He might as well just bring back segregation at this point. Like
Mhm.
Well,
that's what I'm getting.
that's around the corner.
That's like
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting to with him. When I seen that yesterday, I laughed a little bit. Like, there's no way this guy could be serious. And then he put "make Indians great again" or "make Native Americans great again." I seen something like that in the parentheses. But at the end of the day, man, it doesn't surprise me with Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump just, he wants this he wants this dictatorship so bad, but that's not something that America needs or wants or should desire. I think everybody comes here and say the same thing. This should be freedom. This should be something where you don't have to worry about one race is being better than the other or one race is being highlighted than the other. It shouldn't happen. Now, does it happen? It happens all the time. But when you're trying to break away for something and your president, or not your, but the president, is out here trying to bring it back, it doesn't surprise me. Washington Redskins, no, that wasn't a great name. They changed it to the Commanders, and they're trying to be better. The Cleveland Guardians was previously the Cleveland Indians. They don't want to do that. They want to bring it back to the Indians. It doesn't make sense to me. So what's next? Let's bring back the Negro League and get all the black people out of the league. Like, that's where I'm going with Donald Trump. I just think we got a racist as a president, and whoever wants to um, call it like a spade can call it a spade. If you don't, I really don't care. And you know what, Joe? To be honest with you, it's worse because I had to correct a kid the other day. You could tell he was a white kid. I was playing 2K with my brother, and the white kid, me and we don't really say nothing on the mic, but
Right.
my brother, you know, they scored. I guess they were up by like 3 points, and the guy said, "How you like that? You N words."
Mm.
And he wasn't black the way how he said it.
Right.
So
Right.
he said we ignored him the first time. Then he said
Mm.
it again. Then he said it again. So then I finally budged in, and I'm like, brother, what do you get from saying that?
Mm.
So he got
But
quiet for
see,
a second, and then well, I just feel like it's just. I was like, let me tell you something, bro. Like, what for one, I don't sound like this because I'm playing a video game. But one, you wouldn't say that to somebody in person. But two, it's like there's no benefit for you saying that. Like, because it's not
Mhm.
like you're gonna get a reaction over a video game. It's not like you don't
Mhm.
get a reaction in person. Like right now, like you barely getting one because I'm trying to tell you that's not a nice word to say to somebody because
Mhm.
you really could get hurt. Like you
Yeah.
really could get hurt. I'm not saying by
Elijah, so
by
I got a question for you. What is your stance on, so what if it was another Negro League again, right? We talk about segregation. What are the pros and the cons if we did go back to that in some sort of ways? What benefits for us as a people if we had another Negro League? We got all the damn talent. You know what I'm saying?
no, we do.
unfortunately,
Mhm.
let me, Elijah, I need to jump in here. Are y'all willing to go a few more minutes, Alethea? Everybody good? Because if not, who can stay can stay. Who got to go got to go.
Yeah,
Uh,
just send me breakfast, Joe.
okay, no problem. I got you, brother. I got you. Let me say this: we got all the talent, but we don't have no economics.
Exactly.
That
Mhm.
that's the sad thing. That's the
Mhm.
sad thing. We got all the talent. We got all the talent, but Alethea got to go. So we'll say goodbye to Alethea.
Oh,
Goodbye.
Uh,
see, sis.
Yeah.
But
see,
look,
it says I
we
was
have
gonna
the
let her say.
economics, but maybe it's misplaced economics
No,
because we
but
got
the
a lot
point,
of wealthy.
but the sad
Mhm.
thing about it is, Jax, and I hate
Mhm.
to say this, and because I'm sounding
Mhm.
like somebody else, and I don't want to do that. But let me
Mhm.
say this: unfortunately, in my humble opinion,
Mhm.
we just can't. There's some of us who can work together, and there's
Yeah.
some of us who can never work together
Yep.
because we'll start screaming, fussing, fighting, arguing, talking about this, that. That's the problem. If
Mhm.
we could, for once, and I hate to say this, non-melanated folks have showed me this time and time again. Non-melanated folks can literally not stand one another, but they can work with one another.
Sure enough.
And we not like that. We not like that. Once we get, I've seen folks over potato salad not talk
Mhm.
until that person was in the grave and talked about, and then still didn't want to talk. Why ain't you talking to aunt? Hold it, your sister. Why you didn't even come to your sister's funeral? Yeah, we fell out years ago. Over what? Eh, you heard what she said about my potato salad? What?
Mhm.
Yeah, I put too much mustard in it.
That's right.
what What's the
I
name of
mean,
that
Put
movie?
raisins in it.
What's the name of the movie? Who made the potato salad?
Yeah.
Why, nigga? Why?
hey, hey, I'm just saying, and Jax, that's the sad thing. We'll
Yeah.
fall out over the smallest thing and literally not talk to nobody ever again
That's right.
Mm.
and be serious. Be like, y'all fell out over what? Yeah, we fell out. She said my head was nappy. Well, it was.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I seen a meme, Joe, not too long ago, and it's gonna come back to sports or something, and something we had a conversation about last year. I seen meme a couple of weeks ago, and I think I got it on my phone somewhere. It says, "If a white far, all they gotta do is just find some black people to help them out." And I say that to say this: uh, Teddy Bridgewater, Miami is known for producing the best football players. You know, Florida is known, but Miami in particular, there's no team in the last 40 years won a Super Bowl without somebody from Miami being on their team. Teddy Bridgewater is the greatest athlete out of Miami. And I'll tell you the reason why. He's our LeBron James.
Mhm.
Our Trash Pile Stadium would be like the Superdome. That's where all the great high school players play at. That stadium have never been rebuilt until Teddy Bridgewater helped rebuild it, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. There's a park called Bunch Park, which in Miami Gardens where I stay at. He rebuilt the whole park and the whole football program. And there was money stolen from him while he was doing this, but he kept building, kept doing whatever. But some way, somehow, Teddy Bridgewater is being destroyed. And that's from my understanding, well, not even from my understanding, I know this. That school, Miami Northwestern Senior High, it's an all black school. If there is a Spanish teacher that worked there, he got some hood in him. But to deal with those kids, you have to be hood.
Mhm.
But he's been destroyed by people that look like us. So I think the Negro League might start off good, but it will end up bad because we'll end up
Mhm.
destroying it ourselves. That was
Mm.
my
And that
point.
and that's the
That's
part
deep.
that's the part
Yep.
that's the part I want to talk about. Unfortunately, when it comes down to envy and jealousy, it's at an
Mhm.
all-time high in black and brown community. And sadly, we have this philosophy that we roll with, and that philosophy goes just like this. Here it goes. You can
Mhm.
do good, just can't do better than me.
Better than me, yeah.
That's right.
And that's sad because guess what? Let me raise my hand. There are a lot of folks out there better than me,
Mhm.
smarter than me, better looking than me, more money than me, better dresses than me. There's a lot of folks that are better than me in a lot of ways. And I
Mhm.
don't envy those folks. I don't covet those folks. If anything, I try to sit at those folks' feet and learn from them, even if those folks are younger than me,
Mhm.
if those folks are older than me, if those folks necessarily don't live in the same zip code as the same city I live in.
Mhm.
We've got to be at a place where we learn from other folks and understand I can learn everything and I still ain't gonna be as cold as they are.
Mhm.
Because some folks just got it. That's
Mhm.
just their natural gift. If you're a preacher, some of y'all always want to be just like certain preachers. You be you. Be you.
Mhm.
TD Jakes gonna
So
be TD Jakes.
what would you guys say is the viable solution? Because we can't continue on how we're continuing on, and it's so unfortunate. And you guys are
So
absolutely right. We'll be
so
the ones to
Jax,
destroy it.
when you
Mhm.
look at when I did my research on Tulsa,
Mhm.
Oklahoma, it all came from it all started with love
Mhm.
and us realizing that we don't need them. We don't need their culture, we don't need their money, we don't
Mhm.
need their stores, we don't need this. So when we realize that, we'll be all right. Unfortunately, our mindset is we need them. You know, like even when we start this conversation about switches, you know, we need to shoot one another to be to the top. That way we can negotiate with a white person or Hispanic person that come in our community. Like I'm the alpha dog, like I run this thing like that. Or we need their clothing, you know, like
Mhm.
nobody talk about Brother Bowties, but they'll talk about Ralph Lauren, they'll talk about Gucci, stuff like that. And you can take Brother Bowtie, you can use another fashion brand, use Fubu or something like that, or
Mhm.
Reebok, Shaq on it now. But they would talk about, you know, the acceptance from other culture, but they won't talk about the acceptance from that culture. So one, we
Mhm.
don't love one another, we don't appreciate one another. So it's hard for us to do anything for one another, look out for one another. You know, there are a small hand, you know, they say it's the 80-20 rule, but when it comes to our community caring and loving for one another, It's the 90-10 rule. Only
Mm-hmm.
10% of people in the communities really
Mm.
look out and support and want the best for the community, while 90% trying to find a way to take advantage, destroy, rob, steal, or
Mm-hmm.
endorse
Manipulate,
the ignorance. Yeah, manipulate.
all
Yeah,
that good stuff. Right.
or endorse BS in our community. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
just as sure like Elijah said earlier, obviously, Miami coach appreciate that too, Elijah. He knows that we look out for our athletes. But just to
Mm-hmm.
sure that 10% looking out for the athletes, there's another nine to that one person telling the young man go be a quarterback, he's good. There's another 9 men say, hey boy, I got this brick for you. Hey man, you get on the
That's
block,
right.
man. I'll pay you 1,500 a day, bro. Like,
Right.
you
And,
know.
brother Elijah, being the youngest of the crew, let me ask you this: What do you see as you begin to progress in your life, as you transition from the young man to soon to be an elder? Because believe it or not, them 20 years have passed quicker than you know. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. I was gonna get into it, but then when you guys started talking about that, I was like, I can't jump back in that one. That's when I was talking about the past trauma stuff. But I was gonna say, like, when I was a kid, I think, like, going back to like death. I think my first ever, when I realized death was real, I probably was like 15 years old. Um, One of the guys died when I was in high school off of a gunshot wound, and you look at it back in the day, you like, whoa, like, you really could pass away at a young age. I didn't believe you could die at a teenage age. And then
Mm-hmm.
now fast forward to now, like, you seeing all these kids and these gun violences with these teenagers. It's like, well, it's over small things. Like, you realize most of the stuff is not over anything that's big. It's over a guy stepping on a shoe. It's over a guy in a club or running around with somebody else's girl. It's over if somebody felt. I'm not saying they were felt disrespected. It's over things that can be controlled over a conversation. It's not something that could be controlled over something that has to be a life learned decision or a lifetime decision for one another. And like for kids, I think they hear these NBA young boys, they hear this type of music and want to put on ski masks, but they don't know. To me, what I feel like with some of these rappers, they use these beats and these melodies as therapy because they're afraid to go to therapy. So most of these kids are thinking, oh, they're speaking real stuff, like they've been through it. Some of them haven't. This is just how they feel at the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is how
Right.
they
Right.
So
feel
hold it.
at
Some
the
of them
time.
grew up like the Prince of Bel Air. They grew up like the Prince of Bel Air, but they rapping like they like hold on, like they in the middle of the projects. They
Scarface.
seen one
Yeah.
day of the projects. Ain't don't know what one day of ramen noodles feel like. Don't know. Hold it. Better yet, let's hit the real talk of the hood. Don't know how it feel to go 3 days without any food.
And I was about to say
Mm-hmm.
that. You got you probably, most of these kids is probably at home with at least something in front of them because their mom and dad, or mom, or if they're single parent home,
Mm-hmm.
dad, whoever, are paying and making sure you eat every night.
I got
There's
one even better for y'all. What I don't get about the music industry, since you just talk about the music industry, is once you make it popular, you're already a millionaire. So why you still talk about guns and drugs and trauma in the hood? Like you made it. Like, so you should be talking about how you done got therapy, how you done invested, how you done brought a house. You should be your message should change as Jay-Z messages changed throughout the years as he grew up and he became better. But some of these rappers, like, they've been around for 15 years and they still talk about hood stuff and don't stay in the hood. Rick
You
Ross
just
one
said
of
it.
them. But
You just said it. You just said it, brother Bowtie. You just said it.
yeah.
Jay-Z grew up. These guys don't know how to grow up. They talk about the same thing because it makes them money. If they ever decided to say, hey, you know what? Let me talk about what I've been through than what I'm going through now, the now is kind of boring to these guys
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
the kids don't understand it. They don't understand, hey, we should try to get into equity and trying to find a way to get into
Hey,
housing,
hey,
get into
let
restaurant. They don't
hey,
understand that. All they
hey,
understand is selling crack,
hey,
having sex with
let me
girls,
say
having sex
this the
with whatever.
best let me say this the best way, Elijah. It's 10 minutes after. We're gonna go 5 more minutes. And look, I really want to be real with y'all. Brother Tim trying to call in. So Tim, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back. Just give me a second. I'm gonna probably try to let Tim come in. Yeah, we're gonna go to the 30 since Tim is trying to come in. Let me say this, y'all. And this is gonna be very painful. to a lot of folks. A lot of folks will say, "Yo, don't know what he talking about," but I do. Do y'all not understand poverty will never understand prosperity, and prosperity will never understand poverty?
Mhm.
Go to a wealthy person's house and talk to them about how it feels. One that will really listen and look at their facial expression as you talk to them about how it feels to be in poverty. They will literally look at you as if you have told them how it feels to live in hell.
Mhm.
If they really enter it, they will sit there and be like this. If you really, because prosperity don't understand poverty. They can't phantom that. If you say, "Hey, I woke up this morning and I didn't have a bed to sleep in," they will.
Mhm.
I, I I've been awake for 13 hours because I can't sleep in the house. My mom or my dad or both of them, if they're together, whoever my parent is, they arguing and fussing with the next door neighbor. They arguing and fussing with the boyfriend. All I'm hearing is a bunch of,
Mhm.
and all I hear all night long is bow, 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 bow. And I
Mhm.
don't know if the bullets coming through my room,
Mhm.
all this. They don't understand it. They look at you like this. You mean you ain't playing Fortnite? And
Mhm.
hey, and then on the other end, talk to poor folks about real wealth and prosperity and look at how they look at you like a deer in headlights.
Mhm.
Talk to them when you say, I live in a $5.2 million house and I drive a Prius. You mean you ain't
Mhm.
pushing a Benz or a Bentley? I mean, when you talk
No
about you
Rolls
wearing, oh,
Royce.
right, right,
You
right.
trying to
You
tell
Mhm.
me you walk around with a $250,000 for jewelry on?
right, right,
Mhm.
right. Look at, and then here's the sad thing. Let both of them type like trading places, with your boy Murphy and watch what happens when they switch.
Mhm.
They lose their mind. Oh my God. And sometimes, and most of the time, people who are in poverty, once you put them in a place of prosperity, they know how to navigate because they know how to take 3 lemonades
Yeah.
and come out with a lemonade factory. They've been doing it all their life.
Mhm.
Most of the time, when folks know how to live in a lemonade factory and don't know how it feels to work it with 3 lemons, they lose their life. They commit suicide. They go
Yeah.
crazy. They do all kind of craziness. And see, it's sad because I'm telling you, poverty and prosperity don't understand each other and never have and
Mhm.
never will.
Now, Joe, before I'm gonna go on a little bit, I want to backpedal. I mean, going to what you were saying as well. I feel like the only way we could save these kids, um, we have to stop telling them it's okay, you're young.
Mm, mm,
Mhm.
It's okay, you're still learning. We have to make sure that their teenage years
Mhm.
are years that they're not wasting.
Yeah.
mm,
Thank you,
Because
Elijah.
the years that they're wasting, 13 to 18,
Mhm.
and then they're gonna try to pick it up when they're 30. They'll be like, oh, we gotta pick this up. We're 30 now. No, if you don't waste those years from teenager, you'll be having a whole head start. So now think about the kids that's already
So,
those
hold
kids
on, Tim. Hold
think,
on, Tim.
think about those
all
kids
right.
that's already that's successful by the age of 30. They already been putting a plan in
Mhm.
place their teenage years.
Like what
So
Mm,
Kai?
with Kai, so we have to stop telling them it's okay, you're young. Like I'm
Mhm.
okay.
not saying don't give them grace, but I'm saying you have to
That's
just
right.
correct
Thank
them
you,
Hey,
now
Elijah.
while they're young.
Great
hey,
point.
I want to give him an applause. So, family, we're going to hold tight. The phone lines have been open the whole time, and I haven't been working the phone lines because we're getting back into the groove of things. But 225-250-8770, Tim Lawson is on the line. Tim, talk to me, brother. I know you've been hearing
Yeah,
this conversation. Question or comment? Let's go.
yeah, I want to go back to what Brother Boris said about, when we were supporting each other with the love.
Talking about
When,
Brother
when, they,
Bowtie?
yeah, Brother
Okay.
Bowtie. When they burnt down the town
Mhm.
to where we were supporting each other, brother.
Mm.
They didn't, you know, that showed us that we can do it. But
Mhm.
but but what we have done, I'm gonna say, we as an older generation, bro, we have lost the faith in ourselves and in our younger generation because you know, we teaching them things inside the house, brother. You know, we teaching them things inside the house, hatred. You know, I'm gonna say I don't do that to my children, but most of this the generation before this generation is teaching hate, envy, and jealousy in their own house because they talks about their own people, bro. You know, we
Ooh.
talking about our own sisters, our own brothers, our own aunts, our own. We gotta stop that, but we gotta like the young brother said, bro. We gotta teach the kids that is not okay, bro. We gotta teach them something to where they grow up and they take it, brother. And you know, and for the part about the rap music is because I've been to prison. I am a street dude, brother. I am a 100% street dude, and my baby is in the streets, and my baby got shot in the heart twice. So I understand both sides of it. But some people make prison seems to be like it's peaches and cream or it's a place to go. I read, you know, I'm a man, and before I would have gone to prison, and I'm a man all the way 100, bro. I'm not in the men, but I'd rather be a punk before I go to prison and make that shit look cool
That's
because it's
right.
not cool, brother. You know what I'm saying? We gotta understand what we teaching our kids, bro. We really gotta give them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding like my OGs gave me, brother. I mean, I couldn't sell. I'm sad to tell somebody, bro. I couldn't sell no dope until I was about 19. Now they gonna, and that was your weed. Now they gonna give some kids heroin. They gonna give some kids that fentanyl straight up off the porch, bro.
That Fetty, yeah.
So we
Yeah.
gotta, you know, we gotta learn, like, you know, we gotta learn love. But before we can learn to love somebody else, we must first learn to love
Love
God.
also.
We must
That's
love
right.
God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And once we learn to love God with all our soul, heart, mind, and strength, to love ourselves, then we could put that love towards somebody else, brother. You know,
You're
I
right.
mean,
You're right, Tim. That's
we
the
just
key.
we gotta really learn to love one another, man. And our youth, we gotta quit saying, you know, we gotta quit throwing into the woods, bro. Because us as older folks, we throwing our kids to the woods. We won't go out there head first. We're gonna do it for our kids. You know what I'm saying? But what about the next man kid, bro? I love the next man kid more than I love them just like I love my child, brother. You know?
Amen, Tim. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. That you know that's so valid,
Thanks,
and it's
Tim.
funny. It's funny because it makes me think about even yesterday. My daughter got a call from. Well, you keep it, Tim, on Joe,
Tim, are you here?
because
You gonna stay for a
Yeah,
minute?
I'm there.
Okay,
I'm
stay.
there.
Okay,
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
So my daughter got a call, and I'm gonna put it out there because Tim, like you said, brothers and sisters, we all gotta be mature and stand up. So my daughter's on the phone with my brother, which I didn't realize that he and I haven't really spoken much in the past couple years, right? So he calls her, and she comes to my room, and she was like, "Mommy, he was kicking your back in again, right?" And so she says he was asking when she was going away to college and when my son was going away to boarding school. So she told him, and he says, "Oh no, what's your mother gonna do now with nobody to boss around, right?" So my daughter's looking at it like, "Mommy, I got to where I am because how you force us to do certain things and how you raise, us. So, like we are who we are because of you, and of course God, but we are who we are and did what we did because of you." And then when I look at my brother and his life and how the lack of raising his own children, how things kind of have panned out, it's just so ironic because rather than giving support and love in a certain way because your little feelings are hurt on another end about something else, now you still want to
Yeah,
kind of kick my back into my own kids, over
right.
a great job that I did raising my children, and you ain't be at a one parent teacher conference for your kids their entire lives. You know what I mean? So we have to do better at loving on each other and
I,
supporting our brothers and sisters instead
Jax,
of
I said this
jealousy and envy.
right. Jackson, Tim, I say this all the time. We don't have a kid problem. We have an adult problem.
We have
And,
we have an adult problem, bro.
and the truth about the matter is, and I have to say this, and Jax, as much as I love you, and I love you dearly, but I
Hmm.
say this all the time, and I stand 10 toes down. A lot of times, the only God folk gonna see is the God in you. And that's
Hmm.
the problem right there. Y'all trying to show people a person they have never seen and tell them, trust this person you have never
Hmm.
seen. But then they see the God in you, and sometimes the God in us ain't right. And because the
Hmm.
God in us ain't right, they going, you trying to lead me to this person here. But if that person is the person feeding you, I'm watching you. I'm
Hmm.
watching how you move. I'm watching your actions, and your actions ain't up to par. And guess what?
Hmm.
That's where you got to tell people the truth. You looking for
And
perfection. You'll never get that out of me because I ain't perfect. However,
Nope.
I am going to give you the truth from my perspective, and I'm gonna give you direction to go find it for yourself. See, that's
Mm-hmm.
our problem. Everybody too busy trying to say, "Watch me, I'm the standard, I'm the example." I am not. I
Mm-hmm.
am not. I'm
That's
just
right.
trying to navigate. Look, at 58 years old, I wake up every morning saying, "Man, you know what? I missed it yesterday. I fell short. I need to seek more information. I need to seek more spirituality." And above all, I tell people, here's the factor that folks just don't understand. There's one thing that will beat every card you throw on the table, and
Mm-hmm.
we play this card so very seldom. Love.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? Like Tim said, Tim, you got one of my God bracelets, and what does it say on the inside, Tim? If you love me, keep my commandments, right? That's what the Most High says. So we
But
always want to say, "Oh,
and
I love God," but yet we don't want to do what He's telling us to do. And guess what? If we simply did what God told us to do, we could have that great, thriving Black community again. We could have families together as a unit again instead of babies, spread all across the world that sometimes we ain't even taking care of,
You
men
know,
or women.
I have to say this.
Mhm.
We have to stop being selfish. All adults have
Mm,
become selfish some way, somehow in the last 15 to 20 years.
right,
Yep.
And we have to realize that our love is supposed to extend beyond us. Like if
Mhm.
how I personally feel as an advocate, you have to love your community, your society just as much as you love yourself.
come
Mhm.
on.
Like if
Love
you're not
thyself
right.
put
as that love your neighbor as you love
Yeah,
thyself. That
Yeah,
is
that's
if,
the
right.
if you're not
commandment
if
from
you're not
God.
if you're not if you're not putting poison or trash in your body, then why are you gonna allow someone to put trash on your street or stuff like that? So
Mm,
I
Mhm.
think we have to adopt that notion of loving our community, loving our tribe, and we can
Mhm.
go beyond greatest. We can do it. Then, like if we really had love and we really show love to one another, we wouldn't have gun violence.
That's right.
We
right.
wouldn't have
So
poverty.
You know,
We wouldn't have anything. In fact, we'll make happiness out of every bad thing that come our way.
so
Yeah.
brother Tim, it's
hey,
almost 7:30. I'm gonna let you get some closing words in, brother. Go ahead.
you know, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna pick back on Sister Jack. It's like people they tend they tend to bring they tend to not want to let your past die, brother.
Mm,
You know,
Mhm.
whether you have been a bad person or a good person, they can't see. Listen, they can't see you for who God sees you for. That's
mm,
what we
Amen.
got to remember, bro. They can't see. They see Timmy for selling dope or for being a whoremonger or all that. They can't see that Tim has changed, that Tim truly
mm,
puts God first and God, I don't work. God
Mhm.
brings me a watch. Every time I ask for a Rolex, bro, God brings me one or two watches to pay my bill. So we
mm,
got to know that our help and our trust come from God, no matter
mhm,
what.
Yes.
And if we could teach this to our younger generation, if we could teach this to our younger generation, not
mm,
only by words, but by actions, brother.
mm,
You,
Mhm.
you, I could say what I want, but if we got to remember right now that in today's world, brother, kids
Mhm.
see what you do,
mm,
kids see what you say. So
Mhm.
they're not, they're not of older generations like we is, brother. They're a little more progress than we was.
mhm,
So we just gotta give them. We reap what we sow, brother. So let's
Ooh.
plant seeds into our kids,
mm.
into our
Yeah.
adults. Some of our adults are old, but they never grew up.
Amen.
you know, they grew
Mhm.
old, but they never grew up mentally, bro.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
You're
Thank you
But
for
I
right.
calling.
appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, we appreciate you, brother.
We
Thank
love
you
you,
for calling
Tim.
in. Got nothing but love for
All
you.
right, love y'all, brothers
As
and
we get
sisters.
Love
Love
you
you
ready to
too,
too,
get
bro.
bro.
out of here, I'm gonna start with Jax for a reason. Jax, we got a special guest on Wednesday, and I'm gonna let
Yes.
Jax kind of let folks know. I know tomorrow is Tell the Truth Tuesday, but work it out Wednesday. Y'all get ready because, like I told you, every week we're gonna start bringing guests back up in here. We're gonna start
Mhm.
having some great conversations. So, Jax, give me some closing words, but let them know about Wednesday too. Come on now.
Yes, Wednesday we have an amazing guest. I know y'all love the Miseducation of Lauren Hill. That's still like one of my top albums like of the world. So we have one of the producers and writers of that album. He was on our show once before, Kilo. So we can't wait to see you again on Wednesday, my brother. Also, if nobody told you they love you today, y'all already know. Your girl Jax loves you. My husband and I were at a beautiful wedding last night in New York City. And it was just so beautiful to see the love of a righteous brother and sister come together as one. and it's just a beautiful thing. One flesh, that's what it's about, one flesh. So nobody told you they love you. Your girl Jax loves you. Love the life you live the life you love, and may your reality surpass your dreams. Have a blessed day. It's Monday, y'all. If you ain't get it right last week, God bless you with another day. So work on getting it right today, y'all. Peace out. Until next time.
That's what I'm talking about. Brother Bowtie. Give it up,
What
brother.
what's good? What it is, what it ain't, what we gonna do about it. Let's talk about it, do something about it. Not every day makes sense, but even the odd ones carry meaning. A smile from a stranger or a quiet moment might remind you that even your ordinary life is still beautiful. I wish you guys have a nice day. If you wish to support me, follow me on all social media, Bowtie Untied. If you want to buy a bow tie, go to www.bowties.com. Yeah, that's it.
My man, Brother Bowtie. Listen, good word scholar. Family, as I get ready to get up out of here, I always close the same way every day. Real simple. Be better today than you were yesterday. And do something today to be a blessing to somebody somewhere that no matter what you do, there's no earthly way they could ever pay you back. On the behalf of Alethea Crimmins, Sister Jax, Brother Bowtie, Elijah Nixon, and Sean P with the Sean P Experience, this is Joe Dupree from 100 BLK, the Black Station. This is hashtag Truth Be Told / JD Live. We'll be back tomorrow for Tell the Truth Tuesday. Thank you for everybody who logged in. Click like and share. Don't forget to follow us at 100 BLK Media. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also catch us at the JDMS. Y'all have a wonderful and great day. We are up out of here. Peace.